Hi friends, this is Anastasia, an aspiring polyglot who speaks 5 languages and who's dreaming about learning at least 5 more. One of the crucial parts of my language learning journey is reading. I love reading, and I think I love reading in a foreign language even more. But I know it's not true for everyone. Some people may get overwhelmed with it and don't feel like they benefit from reading in a foreign language. I believe it's incredibly beneficial for everyone. You just need to do it right. For one, it expands your vocabulary tremendously. It also helps you improve your comprehension skills and feel the language better. Plus, you get so many cultural insights by reading in a foreign language. I really don't see any disadvantages. However, as a teacher, I know how my students can struggle sometimes with it. You open a book, you see so many unfamiliar words that you just close it, put it away, and never open it again. Or, if you're a little bit more responsible, you open the book, you see a lot of unfamiliar words, you start translating every word and writing it down into your vocabulary list. An hour later, you notice that you've barely made it through a couple of pages and you get frustrated. And again, you close the book, put it away, and never open it again. So you decide to do something better, like scroll TikTok, for example. If that sounds a little bit like you, keep listening. I know that you cannot get the same experience with the book in a foreign language that you get in your native language, but don't worry, I've got you. First, if you are just starting learning a new language, don't jump into reading. It's important to build some vocabulary and grammar first. I'd say you should start reading in a foreign language when you are at least at a pre-intermediate level. Now, if you are ready to start, how do you choose the right book? My favorite tip is to choose something that you already love in your native language, especially if you read it a few times already. Just avoid something too complex like classics, which tend to be quite difficult in a foreign language. Self-help books, short stories, or fairy tales, aka children's books, are great options. For example, my favorite book is The Little Prince. I've read it in both of my native languages, Russian and Ukrainian. Then, when I was learning English, I got myself this dual language book in English and Russian, which I can show you because I still have it. If you open it, it has a Russian version, and then the second part of the book is in English. It helped me so much, and it was much easier for me to read in English because I already knew the plot and I didn't have to concentrate on that. I just concentrated on vocabulary, and a lot of that I could guess from the context because I knew the book already very well. Now, when I moved to Germany, I got myself the German version of The Little Prince, or Der kleine Prinz. And to my surprise, I read it quite quickly, although my German wasn't great, still isn't. So that's my fourth language for The Little Prince. Now, when I moved to Croatia, I went to one book fair and I saw this Mali Prince in Croatian, and of course I bought it and I read it in Croatian, and it helped me with my Croatian a lot. And again, I could guess a lot of the vocabulary from the context because I probably know it by heart by now. Well, not by heart, but I know a lot from The Little Prince. You can see that I have a lot of notes in these books, but yeah, this is not the whole collection. I now have The Little Prince in French too, which is a gift from a friend of mine, and I still haven't read it, but I hope one day I'm gonna be able to read it because French is on my list and I hope I'll learn it. It just looks so pretty. It's the most beautiful book in my collection of The Little Prince, so I hope I'm gonna be able to read this. But yeah, I did this not only with The Little Prince. For example, I got myself 1984 in Croatian. I've read this already, I liked it, and I'm reading it in Croatian now just to improve my Croatian. I've also listened to a lot of audiobooks in Croatian and in German, books that I've read already in my native language or in English. It helps me a lot, and I feel like it's easier when you know the plot already, much easier, which is why I'm recommending this all the time. But yeah, I'm also getting some other books now, like Die Sprachen der Welt in German, a book about languages in a foreign language for me. This should be tough, but I hope I'm gonna make it through. It will take me forever probably. Haven't started yet. Additionally, I have a book in Spanish. I ordered it accidentally in Spanish instead of English, and I think this is a sign. I want to learn Spanish one day. I've started learning it before, as well as French, but I stopped. So I'm gonna continue in the future again. So yeah, this is just a small part of the books I own. I also listen to audiobooks, and I like finding some interesting books to read. And if I feel like this is going to be easy, like with the Atomic Habits, I still haven't read it, but I want to get it in Croatian because I feel like this is kind of a self-help book and the vocabulary shouldn't be too complicated, so I'm going to be able to read it in a foreign language instead of reading it in my native language. Please share in the comments below your book recommendations. I would love to read this. And now let's move forward. If you're someone who likes novels or more complicated books, it's probably not a good idea to start reading it in a foreign language if you're still at a pre-intermediate level. Instead, try graded readers or adapted books. These are the books that are adapted specifically to your level. So you still can enjoy the stories you liked, but in a simplified language. This was incredibly helpful for me when I was learning English. It felt so much easier than the original versions, but still very effective for improving my language skills. Now that we know how to choose the right book, let's move to how to read this book. Please, please, please don't translate every new word. It's not about understanding every single one. Focus on understanding the overall meaning. Think about it. When you read in your native language, you don't focus on every single word. Sure, knowing the words helps, but if you miss a few, the general idea will remain the same. So keep reading unless it gets too confusing, and only then check the meaning of some unfamiliar words that can help you understand the idea of what you're reading about. Nowadays, there are lots of apps that you can click on the word, see the translation immediately, and it's quite convenient. However, I personally love reading physical books, so here is what I do. I take a picture of the page with my phone, I send it to the Google Translate, and it gives me the translation of the whole page. So that I don't have to translate every single word separately if I need to check this. And it's kind of having a dual language book, you know. I have my physical book and on my phone I have the translation of my page, so whenever I need to check something, I just check it on my phone. It's a little bit more convenient than the dual language book, because here you have to find the page that corresponds to what you're reading currently, and you have to check it like this all the time. Sometimes it doesn't match, so it's a little bit inconvenient. And with phone it's so much easier. As you read, you'll notice a lot of words or phrases that repeat themselves. That's a clue that this word or phrase is important, or at least common, and it's worth remembering it. Also, you might recognize some words, but the whole phrase wouldn't make any sense to you. This is where you see these cultural differences in idioms and expressions. I love making notes of those, but to be honest, sometimes I never check them back, and that's okay, we're all human. We don't have to do it perfectly, we just need to do it. So, to sum up, choose the book that you've read already in your native language or that is adapted to your level. Don't try to understand every word, focus on the general meaning. And pay attention to repeating words and interesting phrases. That's it, simple, but in my opinion, quite effective. The main goal here is to enjoy the process, like everything in life. I hope you find these tips helpful and you take away some useful insights. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, like this video and subscribe for more. My channel is new, but I try to post every week. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. See you in the next video. Bye bye!